Good evening and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Hope you guys have been having yourself a great day. And joining us today, we've got our guest. We have Flex.
Yo, what's happening? Just made it.
Just made it. You know what I mean? Just as the show started, right? He was supposed to have joined me about 10 minutes before the show. And just as the show started, that's when he decides to.
Apologies. I remember that you WhatsApped me the link instead of email, so that I had to kind of, yeah. But I'm here. Not even late. It's still 8 o'clock now. It's not even 1 minute past yet.
Listen, good to have you on and good to have everybody here tonight. Hope you guys have been having yourself a great day. It's been a nice enough day today, actually. A bit breezy out there, but a nice sunny day. And Flex, first of all, I've got to ask you, have you been watching any of the German football? There's another game on tonight.
Yeah, I have, man. I watched the Dortmund game. I watched the Union. I watched parts of the Union Berlin and Bayern game as well. So yes, I think there's been no football for so long. Whole world's flipping watching it. You know what I mean? You got the Bundesliga teams even sending out sort of come and support us, please, because they know the whole world's watching them. And it's there's been loads of people moaning it's crap, it's not the same, and of course it's not the same. But I think I've got my head around life is going to be different for a very long time, not just football. So I think once you kind of look at it that way, you just accept it for what it is for me. Yeah,
it's not the same though, is it? Without fans there, it's not the same. I mean, I agree with you. I've been like, well, you know what? I watched the game, the Dortmund game, and it was a decent enough getting some good goals in that game.
Yeah, some very good goals. Yeah.
And I enjoyed just watching football again. And I was doing a show earlier with Curtis, and I was saying to Curtis was asking me about it as well, and I was saying to Curtis that I think when it kicks off here in the Premier League, we'll look on it and we'll say to ourselves, well, actually, we'll enjoy it a bit more because we'll be more familiar with the players that are playing.
Yeah, true. And we have more connection, plus it's our team as well. So
yeah,
it's like,
and it means something. And plus as well, all those games that start are going to mean something, because there's 10 games left. They're all going to mean something. So I think we enjoy it more, but ultimately we need fans.
We do. And we know that it's not a great spectacle. And it's weird. It's weird for me because obviously the last game we played, I actually went to, which was behind closed doors as well. So, which was our Europa League game in Austria. And I got a feel for it actually being there. And then now I see what people meant because they watched that game behind closed doors and I was shouting things out. People could hear me singing. And it's quite funny. But it is weird without fans. Of course it is. What this does show us, apart from the pandemic, I'm talking football things, is that football is absolutely nothing without fans. Zero, nothing. So look, I think different countries got to do the best they can do. Some countries are still, killing theirs off. We saw that happen with Scotland today, and I'm sure we'll talk about that later on. But for the countries that are going to come back, I think instead of just people saying it's this, it's crap, it's not this, it's not that, well, then, it's the same thing when we all go back to work or when we do this or when we do, it's not going to be the same. You have to just get on with it,
Yeah, we're talking about that. You touched on it, and Pete 68 says it here. He said they had a meeting today, Scottish football cancelled. They have cancelled that league, and there's going to be no more games in Scotland. They awarded the title to Celtic, and very controversially, they've sent down Hearts, which is a big. Hearts have been relegated, and they worked it out by doing the average points.
Yeah.
Now,
it's hard, man. It's hard. That's not fair.
What do you feel? What do you feel about all this?
I mean, I'm not going to act like I know all the actual points. But look, no.
Celtic were ahead. They weren't like as far ahead as, like, say,
Liverpool.
The situation over here with Liverpool, they were ahead, but
But they always win it, man. That's their league anyway. You know what I mean? Celtic need to come out of that league and come in the Premier League anyway. It's a joke of a league. But no, with the Hearts situation, though, in all seriousness, I think it's really unfair because if you're doing it by a points by game thing, the reason why it's unfair is because points by game is an average. But if you're talking about there's 8 games left, you don't know with the laws of averages sometimes. How do you know Hearts weren't going to win 8 games in a row? It's the same. That's why we don't decide things in normal circumstances on per game and stuff like that, because at the end of the day, you're not out of it until you're mathematically it's impossible, which is the reason why, even when the season was carrying on, Liverpool still weren't champions yet. They weren't, which is the reason why Norwich still weren't relegated yet, because if they won their next 8 games and then the teams around them dropped points or whatever, they could stay up. So
don't you think that when you see what's happened today, it just shows you how bad it is when we don't get to finish the season? I just think it's wrong to just award, and and already you're seeing Hearts are saying they're going to take legal action.
Yeah, 100%, and that's just it. That's why, don't get me wrong, there's this whole argument of whether the end of June's too soon and stuff like that. But it's got to finish whenever it can finish. Even if they said, all right, well, for whatever reason we can't finish in June, so we've got to do it July. We can't do it July, we've got to do it. You have to finish it. You have to. And if you don't finish it for whatever reason, all right, okay, but you can't decide anything. You can't. And I think Liverpool are so close to that league that there'll be riots in this country, well, in Liverpool. If they don't, there won't be riots in the country, because most people outside Liverpool will laugh at them. But that would be such an unjust, and teams getting chucked down when they're not mathematically been relegated. Again, lawsuits galore. And with the money that's in the Premier League do not want that on their hands. You just know it, which is the whole reason why, like I said, like I've been saying, the 3 most lucrative leagues are coincidentally, ironically, the ones who have waited and not cancelled nothing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Spain, Italy, Germany, England, France, that's the most noticeable one. But, they're not really, apart from PSG, not really a lot in it. But
I think the TV obligations as well for those 3 countries, their TV obligations are like worldwide. You know what I mean? So like Premier League, it's not just when I hear people saying, "Oh, they'd have to refund Sky that money." No, there's lots of TV companies around the world.
Around the world, Indian channels, Australian channels. Yeah, it'd be crazy, and the Premier League don't want that on their hands. Is it? So that's why it goes back to what we were saying a couple of weeks ago when I was on. Is it about money? Yeah, of course it is. Some of it, but some of it's also about the fact that they're going to provide a very, very safe environment for these players with constant testing, rigorous testing. One thing I don't know about though, which I think is weird, is if they're going to allow the players to go home and back to their families and move about, then I think that's a bit more of a problem. I think aren't Germany doing it where they're away? Yeah. That for me, that has to happen. That has to happen, because you need it to be a real controlled environment. It's like running a science experiment. You have to control these variables. You have to do it. If they can't guarantee that, if you've got players coming back from the game who have tested negative, let's say, and they complete the game, but then they go home, and then the mum's been out, parents of the kids have been out running around here, there, and everywhere, then they could catch. Then it becomes a much more complex situation. They've got to keep them away for 5 weeks, I think.
Yeah. Getting into some of the comments on that, Sam Tresidder says points per game does not take into account the unpredictability of the league, which is 100% what I agree with. You know what I mean? AFC 90 says Norwich would win the Scottish League. That's a bit harsh, right?
Yeah, no, they wouldn't win it, but I get what you're saying.
Jack says, I disagree. I've been enjoying the football without fans. It gives a raw feel to the game, similar to youth football.
Interesting. I've never heard anyone say that.
He's the first person I have ever heard say that they've been enjoying the game with no fans.
Listen, that is what you call really optimistic. That's a glass half full right there. Fair play.
Sorry, it's not the same game without the fans, man. Not for me anyway. James Dwyer says, "Hi, Robbie and Flex. Do you think Man United and Arsenal will play better behind closed doors or worse?" This is a very interesting point. Let me get your point of view first. I'll tell you mine.
You know what? It depends who you're playing against. Because I use you guys as an example about when they were saying about they don't want to do the neutral fit ground thing and that. And I'm saying, well, there's a North London derby to be played. It was going to be the first one at Tottenham's new stadium. A lot riding on it. You're going to have to go to their backyard. Hostile Tottenham fans, 60,000 of them right on top of you. Is that North London derby going to be easier for Arsenal to play now? Absolutely. Absolutely. Of course it is. Our next game was Tottenham. Our first time playing them at that new stadium. We were looking forward to it at the time because they had no players and everyone was injured. We knew we was going to beat them. Now they've got their players back and it's behind closed doors. But is it going to be easier for us? Yeah, because although it's at their stadium, you can talk about familiarity of changing rooms and all that crap. But what really makes it advantage is the fans. That's what makes it. That's what makes the advantage. And I experienced that firsthand in Austria. I felt so sorry for Laskelins. You know, they've worked hard to get to that. They would exactly who, but they would have 20,000 of their fans in there, which would have been an uncomfortable night. You know what it's like going around Europe, them hostile places. You might do the job. That's why it's hard game out there. Like look, Club Brugge, for example. We played them in their backyard. We scraped to 1-1 draw and beaten 5-0 at flipping home because of the fans, because of the. Do you know what I mean? It's a different thing. So yeah, there's a lot of games, individual games, that will be easier, and some of the smaller teams, or the smaller clubs who have to play against the bigger clubs. Would it be easier for Norwich to play at Man City without Man City's fans there, even though it's at the Etihad? Easier, yeah, of course it would.
I actually think, right, that this thing's going to be behind closed doors is an advantage to the big clubs, right? And the reason why I say that, right, is the big clubs have better players, right?
Yeah.
Very true what you're saying. What can be the leveler is the fans. So you go to Sheffield United, you go to Norwich, you go to Watford, they're fans, and the fans will get an extra 10% out of those players.
Yeah.
The fans are going to be gone. Now it's just going to be down to ability.
Yeah.
There's no fans, no nothing. It's just down only on ability. You know, obviously you had the ability of the team as a whole, but ability of individuals.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to be an advantage to the big teams because they got the players with more. They got the better players. So I actually think he's going to make it harder for those smaller clubs. I think that they. But
normally, though, Rob, they'll have the ability and the fans to battle against you. Technically, they're only battling against one of those variables. So say Bournemouth have to go to Anfield, right? And we know what's going to happen there, pretty much, right? They're on a normal day, they're battling against 50,000 crazy scousers going mad, loud singing, you'll never walk alone, intimidating, every touch out of play is way. They're battling against that. Plus, you're battling against the fact that Liverpool is so good. So technically, they're battling against less variables. That's why I'm saying, really, it would make it slightly easier because you're only battling against one thing. Don't get me wrong, that one thing will still probably make Liverpool win that game. But if it's the fans plus the ability, it's almost, that's why not many people have any chance. Even Man United, even us going there. When we went there, we would probably have a little bit of a better chance.
I'll tell you the other thing as well. It's going to help certain players as well, because, for instance, certain players that don't, you know, if they, you know, certain players you have at a team, like they make a poor touch and then the fans get on them. There's no fans to get on their case no more. So
that's what I'm saying.
Players might shine more. They might not be
there you go, and that's what I'm saying. You might get some of the lesser able players or the not so good teams actually playing with a bit more confidence. Why? Because the pressure's not on there. You know that whole thing of like, let's go there, keep it tight. Let's keep the fans quiet. You know that tactic there. Sometimes that's actually a tactic for big away games. Let's keep the ball, settle the place down. Maybe let some of the insecurities run through the terraces. Get them umming and ahhing, and let's make them miss. But now it's like, well, we can hear the coach from the touchline shouting what he wants to shout. We can hear all our players. You know what I mean? So the complexities and the way the game looks and feels is completely different. And for the younger players as well coming in, it could be easier for them because they're used to playing under 23 football with no crowd.
Yeah, you know, you get exactly. They're used to playing with no crowds on those young players, and also like they could be through on goal, and when all the fans are there, they think to themselves, "I better lay this off."
There you go.
They might say to themselves, "No, you know what? I reckon I could bury this." You know what I mean? So it's going to be really interesting to see how it pans out. The one thing about it, it's going to be the same for both teams. So
it is the same for both teams. It is. Yeah. And that's why you can't moan, because the same way that you're not going to have fans spurring you on to get you over the line, you're going to end up going to somebody else's ground where you've got maybe a slight better chance against them. And there's some teams though, it don't matter. They could play down the park. They're still going to lose. Like there's some matchups that just will be like that.
Mr. Rotten says, I think teams have got to stop whining and play in neutral grounds, play with no fans, etc. We're in the middle of a pandemic. Stop complaining. And I agree with it. I said this the other day. I got slaughtered for it. You know what I mean? Some people were slaughtering me when I said that, listen, if it is what it is, we have to get on. And we're seeing it in the German football. They're getting on and getting it done at the moment. You know what I mean?
Yeah, they are. But
more satisfactory than having just awarding things. You know, saying, how does a Hearts fan feel tonight? Relegated.
Yeah,
it's not.
You can't. I don't think you can just do things on what you think would have happened. That's just not how you decide things. It isn't. Not in competitive sport. You know, I use this analogy when I was saying if you bet on a horse, right, and the horse was winning, and then for some reason, whatever happened, think of some unforeseeable reason, they stopped the race. Do you think you can go to William Hill and cash it in and say my horse was winning, so give me my $5,000 because he was? No, you wouldn't. The race didn't finish. Do you know what I mean? So I'm like, at the end of the day, it might sound harsh, but if you can't complete it, you've either got to scrap it, which is horrible for Liverpool, horrible. But it's the fairest way because you can't scrap it, then say, but Liverpool will get the league because there was only 2 games, but Norwich have to go down. You can't do that. If you decide at the top, you have to decide at the bottom, and you have to decide in the middle. Do you know what I'm saying? All of the things what were left to see how it was going to play out because we needed games to find out who's going to win them. Excuse me. You can't just decide those things, or you can't just decide in one area. Do you know what I'm saying? So you can't just go, well, Sheffield United were probably gonna beat Aston Villa and be ahead of points on Man United, but then Man United still had to play Sheffield United, and that game was at Old Trafford, and they probably would have won that. They got Pogba back and Bruno, so yeah, we'll probably say that they deserve Champions League. You can't do that. Because that's what you're doing. Essentially, by preconceiving that and handing out things when they haven't played, that's what you're saying. You're saying that you've made a judgment that this would or would not have happened. And that, to me, is wrong.
Liverpool Pete says, we're going to win the league.
They are going to win the league.
And I bet you see, this is the thing, and I bet you they're happy and should be that it's going to return. And also, you know, a lot of the teams that were moaning, right, were those teams near the bottom, like Norwich, like Villa, Watford. Now, I wonder if they're still moaning now and, you know, threatening not to do this and not do that when they see what's happened in Scotland. Because as they said, they relegated teams. They haven't just said that, boy, everybody stays in. You know, so if they don't get this completed, they could be gone.
You know what it is, though? I kind of feel a little bit for those clubs, like you're saying, down the bottom. And I know it's a level playing field for everyone. We're all going through it, right? But everyone looks after their own interest in it. I get that. It's business, isn't it? And these football owners, of course, if you know that there's a chance you can not have to come back and you can reserve your Premier League status, of course you're going to try and explore those avenues as the owner of a football club, as the players, as the manager, as fans will probably want that because you want to preserve your club status in the Premier League. I try and put myself, which is hard to do sometimes because we've never been in those positions. Well, when Man United got relegated, I weren't born, but
we've never
yeah, I know, there you go. But I try to put myself sometimes in the way of thinking, just for the odd time to see what it's like to be a Watford fan, or see what it's like to be a Bournemouth fan, or a Norwich fan struggling, or an Aston Villa fan who had just on the cusp, got a game in hand and could win it and get out. How would I actually feel if I was them? I would be wanting everything to happen that would allow us to stay in the league. Or if they were going to avoid the league, then you can't relegate me because I had a chance. I had a chance. You can't just
look what's happened in Scotland today.
It's not fair. Exactly. It's not fair. It could happen. I'm not saying it can't happen.
And Hearts are one of the biggest clubs in Scotland. You know what I mean? They're the top 4 biggest clubs in Scotland. They've been relegated. So, you know, that's why it's very important to try and finish the league. You know what I mean? So that we just get like, and also they're talking at the moment about I know they're talking to the WSL, the Women's Football League.
Yeah,
that's starting to look like that's going to get cancelled as well. So it's very, I don't know. I think it's quite unsatisfactory. This guy poses a question, and kind of the biggest subject what we're talking about today. Now, Anshu says thoughts on Hudson-Odoi incident. Right, the footballers in this lockdown have not done themselves any favours. Some of them, right? You had the Jack Grealish One where, you know, 1 minute he's doing a video saying to people, you know, stay home, stay safe and stuff like that. Next minute, you know, he's caught out, his car's crashed. He'd have been out to allegedly a party or something like that. You had Lacazette, Arsenal player, yesterday caught out by a newspaper, looking like he might have been doing hippie crack with the balloon gate, we caused it yesterday.
When they try to make it sound so much thing,
right? God. And then this one today tops all. Hudson-Odoi, right? Who, let's remember, Hudson-Odoi was the first footballer to get coronavirus. When Arteta had it, he had it as well. He had coronavirus, so he should know. Even though he didn't have it seriously, he didn't get hospitalized, but he should know all about this, right? So he's had it. He's out at 4 o'clock in the morning. Well, he's brought over someone to his house at 4 o'clock in the morning, and they're out there at 4 in the morning. And now he's been arrested, you know, on alleged rape charges. I mean,
is that what it was in the end? Was it? I knew you got arrested. Was it alleged rape charges?
No, it's alleged rape charges. It's got more serious for it.
Got more serious, yeah.
What's going on with these footballers, man? What's up with them?
Yeah, the first thing, look, with this is, I hate when reports come out like this in terms of the real seriousness of it, because you can't go around, you know what I mean, talking about rape cases and things like that. We don't know what he's done. But what is a fact is that I did see the report where the police confirmed a man was arrested from the address. They were called to it, you know, when they confirm that, but they don't say the names. But look, at the end of the day, it's just so negligent from these players. It proves, and this is what I was saying about like certain players where it comes down to priorities, right? If you ask the younger players with not a family and, you know, they're not at the end of their careers, like say, I don't know, or they've got kids, you know, like Harry Maguire just had kids, he's settled, Bruno's just chilling in his house, they've got the kids, whatever, versus a Martinelli or a Saka or a Mason Greenwood, young, 18, 19, bored, just can't wait to get out of the house. Their priorities are a lot different. I'm not excusing what they're saying. I'm just saying this is the thought process going through maybe some of these players' heads. And look, they're human beings as well, going to make mistakes like any other people. I think that's what it shows. It shows that look how much regular non-football people have been breaking this lockdown. People going for sunbathers in Battersea Park, breaking the lockdown and that. And it shows that they're the same. But the problem that they have is, which they know that they have, once you become a professional footballer, the spotlight's on you. The spotlight's on you whether you like it or not. And I learned from talking to Troy Deeney, to be fair, he said, we will make mistakes. We're going to mess up. We will. But you have to understand that when you do it at that level, you will be harshly scrutinized. The same way when you score a goal, you're bigged up and you're praised. And if you're in good form, you're the best thing since sliced bread. And especially at this time where we've got to be, you know, adhering to these rules, and that to see professional footballers doing it's just crazy, man. It is just crazy. And
I said in the Hudson-Odoi case, remember he had it, and this was the headline said Chelsea and England winger Callum Hudson-Odoi was arrested on suspicion of rape in the early hours of Sunday morning. Right, police and ambulance were called to an address in London at 3:53 in the morning to report of an unwell woman. When emergency services attended, the woman reported that she was raped. She was taken to hospital. And Hudson-Odoi, 19, was arrested on the scene and has since been released on custody. Now, as Flex said, you know, proven to innocent to proven guilty. But it looks, not only are you breaking the lockdown, not only were you a player that had the coronavirus, now you've been arrested for rape. What you put yourself in an awful position when you shouldn't even have been doing that, because you should have been at home on your own.
Yeah,
you know, your household. You know, it's. And then, what did you make of the Lacazette one?
The Lacazette one, didn't he do that before, the laughing gas thing as well?
He got done before, like the whole team. They're at a club, and they got done before. This one, it's hard. Again, yesterday I was getting accused a bit of making excuses for Lacazette, which I wasn't fully, but I was just saying that when you look at the video of it, he's not actually blowing in or out of the thing. He's just got it like on his mouth, like right now. This was a private thing that he sent to a friend. Like a friend must have said to him, "What are you up to?" And he must have sent back to the friend and said, sent the picture and with the caption say, "Yeah, I'm at home, home chilling, doing some balloons." Yeah. Now we don't know whether it's a joke thing. We don't, I mean, even me and you, we have banter sometimes, and I suppose if it got out,
but he's done it before. He's done it before, mate. That don't help. I'm sorry, you can't stand up for him, Rob. You can't stand up for him on this one. You've tried. You've tried to.
Yeah, you can't.
I'll tell you what.
It's terrible.
You'd be a great defense lawyer. I do like what you're trying to do there. But unfortunately, the jury would go, hang on a minute, mate. You've got previous. You're banged up, mate. That's what would happen.
I said yesterday, how do you know? How do you know what's in this glass? How do you know?
Yeah, but then, Robbie, it comes down to, right?
Hold on. How do you know? How do you know whether this is water or vodka?
Yeah, cool. All right, fine. That's fine. But what I'm saying to you is, if you've been done before, for doing cocaine before, let's just say, and then I'm using that an irony to your song, and then
what's cocaine got to do with anything?
No. I'm not saying it's the same as gas, but I'm just making a hypothetical situation. And then you do I'm pretending to maybe take it, and it looks like I might be, but you don't really know if I did or not. Is that a wise move?
Yeah. And it's not a wise move. And it's gone down very badly. You can see this guy, Louis says Lacazette should leave.
And then another thing is, I've got to say though, I did tweet it, and one Arsenal fan, he ended up understanding what I was saying when he actually read what I said properly. I said, there's either got to be some serious snitches in that Arsenal fold, or Lacazette's got some fake friends, because it could be his friend who's done it. Because the Ozil thing happened, the 3 players with the Arsenal wages thing, and only Ozil's name got baited up. Who's the other 2 players? How's that got out the dressing room? I'd be asking questions about that. And then whether this is Lacazette's actual friend or someone in the club, in the WhatsApp group, whatever, I don't know. But how's that ended up getting out as well?
We've got 6ix9ine in the building, man. You know what I mean?
I tell you, I hashtag 6ix9ine FC. I put Arsenal 6ix9ine FC, mate. Bad snitches in there.
Hey, stop, man. I have to have it.
It's true, man. Just
you know
what I mean?
It wasn't actually one of his teammates. He looks like he's a so-called friend, like you said, that's grassed him up.
Even worse.
Table tennis 20. Bin Lacazette as soon as possible. Beep 68 says he's a rascal. Lacazette, ain't he just laugh out loud? Game McQueen says it's vodka. Hence why you claim that Arsenal are bigger than Liverpool. Sendry K says Lacazette should make a public apology and get a fine, a big fine. He's definitely got to get a big fine for this. You know,
listen, you don't hear you a feel, and he's done it. He's done it once already. Don't look good, man.
Ralph Lewis says, why has he got balloons in his house? Is it his birthday? It could be. It could be his birthday.
Oh, mate. Look, at the end of the day,
the balloons thing is not actually illegal.
No, it's not technically illegal, but it's not. It's not like a hardcore drug, and you get addicted, and But at the end of the day, though, if you're a professional athlete, is it sending out the right messages to be having that outside? I know he wouldn't have wanted it to get out there. He didn't put it on his own Instagram saying, "Hey kids, look at me." But as soon as you do that in front of any recording device, it's out there for anybody to get it in the wrong hands, and you're leaving yourself exposed. So I don't have any sympathy for that. Like, I get it. You've got people that we all trust as friends, and he'll probably look at that friend in a whole different light now. If he hasn't, he should. But you can't. If you're in that position that you're in the spotlight at Arsenal Football Club, you can't be recording yourself on anything, doing anything crazy.
It's absolutely dumb. Tiger Martin says people need to wait for the true story for Lacazette and Callum Hudson-Odoi situations. Well, you're right. You're right. They've not been charged yet. Lacazette didn't actually do anything illegal.
Lacazette's not going to get charged. He ain't done anything.
It looks bad. A newspaper have got it. It's everywhere. It's lockdown where people are losing their lives, and you've got a professional footballer looking like he's doing balloons. It's terrible. And then on the Hudson-Odoi thing, like we know, you know, you're innocent until proven guilty, but it looks bad. Police and an ambulance is called to your house at 4 a.m.
Yeah, they don't come for no reason, do they?
You've got somebody there who shouldn't be there. It's a lockdown. So again, it looks bad. Grealish out in the middle of the nut court, you know what I mean? His cars mash up, but it looks terrible.
That's awful, Alan.
You look at it and you say, "What are these? Who are these? Why do they think they're better than anybody else to be doing this sort of stuff?" That's the impression that you get. And Troy Dean is right. They're not. Nobody's perfect.
Exactly.
You make mistakes, and a lot of times I always say that, you know, when you meet these players, it's when you realise how young they are. Some of them are very, very young. I mean,
just come out of school. Some of them, literally. You know, making agreements 18.
Hudson-Odoi, Hudson-Odoi. I'm like, you got the coronavirus. Surely that should focus you and say to yourself, I don't know, man.
It just shows how I don't want to keep saying how human, because I feel like that can come across as if I'm trying to pacify their actions. I'm not. I'm just trying to say, just because you're a professional footballer, it don't mean you don't do dumb shit, is what I'm trying to say.
They seem to do a lot.
A lot. But also, remember, their dumb shit gets highlighted instantly on a big scale as well. So whereas you and I could make a mistake or do something stupid and maybe no one will ever know, or your friend might call you an idiot and say, fix up, it doesn't go to the world, does it? It doesn't go to the footballing community, the footballing world. But I think it just shows how immature that some of these young players still are, because they are still they're millionaire teenagers, but they're still teenagers. Gonna make mistakes. When I was 18, 19, would I make mistakes stupid like that? Maybe. I'm not too perfect to say I 100% know when I was 18 I wouldn't do anything silly like that.
Not that mistake, I hope.
No, not that. No, not that mistake. But I'm talking about just doing something silly or irresponsible. We've all been there and done it and made mistakes in life as part of growing up.
Come on, the amount of stupid things I did. Jesus.
We've all done it. So I don't like to say that too much, because like I said, some people can take it out of context and think, oh, you're just sticking up for them. I'm not sticking up for them, because what they've done is very irresponsible.
You know what? The three players in this case, and Take Me Back says Hudson is 19 and Lacquer is 28. The man should know better. But I think the three players involved when we were talking, all three of them should know better. Lacazette should know better. He's been, like you said, he got in trouble for this before in a nightclub. He shouldn't even be using no balloons as a no joke. Even if it's a joke, forget it. Don't go there, right? Grealish he's been in trouble before. You've seen him laid out in FIFA on the
again. This is young. That's like what average. You know what? Sorry, just quickly.
As I said, he had the coronavirus. Why are you breaking the rules? And honestly, you can't make it up.
Some of them things that they've done, like, it's hard because there's a balance in it between you're growing up, so you're going to make the same mistakes that a normal 19-year-old would make, i.e. you're out too late, you're drunk, you're in a club, you get in a little scuffle or something. It's irresponsible, but I'm saying that's like some of the stereotypical things that you go through as a young 18 to sort of 21, going out a bit. And then when you mix that with stardom / being a professional athlete, depending on your mindset, that can be very, very challenging. And if you don't have the right people around you, mixed with the wrong mindset, you can fall at the wayside. And I just see there, I know what you're saying there about the Kyle Walker thing, even to the point where he had to
forget Kyle Walker and his sex party.
Yeah, he had to come out and actually, do a statement. And you know what? I read it and I did kind of think, I thought he admitted that he brought a lot of heat on himself within his family. He'd done something, which is none of our business, as far as I'm concerned. It's not, if he's had done whatever in his household and his missus they've had a falling out, or he's done what he's done. That's his business. And obviously with the media though, we look for scandal. We're not part of that mainstream media, but the media look for that golden headline. Oh, Walker caught, cheating or doing this or doing that or whatever. To me personally, I'm like, what a man does in his private life, I don't even really want to know. Me personally, but because it sells papers, they do it. But he's brought a lot of heat on himself.
In the case of this, you're right. I again, that's his private affair. But there was a lockdown again.
Exactly, and again, that's what makes it worse.
And that's where this looks terrible. Ordinarily, if it would just been some affair or something, I'm like, oh, I see those all the time. I'm like, I don't care. What's that got to do with me? I mean, it's not my girl. You know what I mean? I don't care. It's just
that's what I'm saying.
The guy's private life, and the footballers are not the only people who have affairs. Lots of people, it happens. You know what I mean? And that's.
I just see Loz Beef said it there, and I was going to say it there because he said no one cares about what Giggs done to his wife, and that's what I was just about to go on to. I was going to say Ryan Giggs done one of the most infamous things possible. Factually, did it. There were stories after it and all of that. But at the end of the day, where do you draw the line? And this is an interesting thing because I know we're going a bit off topic here, but people doing, the R. Kelly thing, okay, he's got a whole load of trials going on there. Bill Cosby. You talk about things that happen. At what point do you go, okay, I'm going to judge them on their craft? So you could say that, boy, the R. Kelly thing's mad. I can't believe he still hasn't been proved, but it's not looking great, let's say. But he's, as an artist, you can't fault this, you can't fault that. So as a musician, you can say you rate.
I can't listen to R. Kelly no more.
See, and that's the debate. Is that like
I used to love his music. I've been to R. Kelly concert when I was younger, and I thought he was brilliant. Ever since it's all come out what he's been up to, I can't listen to his. I've gone off him now. I can't listen to his music.
Yeah. It's enough to taint his musical legacy, is what you're saying.
Of course it does. You know what I mean? Because I can't listen to that no more. You know what I mean? Even me, I get into lots of arguments with people about Michael Jackson. I was
going to say Michael Jackson. What do you think about that?
I can't handle him no more because even though rest in peace, he's passed away. But honestly, the things that. I just, I mean, it's put me off.
So would it be the same if Henri, if something come out about Henri?
It would be the same. If something as bad as what R. Kelly's done came out about Thierry Henry, that for me would ruin it for me. It would. I mean, there's certain things like you said, the Kyle Walker thing, affair, and so. Honestly, it happens.
There's a threshold, isn't it? There's a threshold. Yeah,
it happens. But certain things,
the
R. Kelly thing. Things when kids are I'm done with you, man. That's just me. I'm just like, that's disgusting. Mr. Rotten says, good evening, Robbie. I watch all your streams and comment quite a lot. Just wanted to thank you for all the entertainment you provide. Thank you very much, Mr. Rotten. I always see you commenting, man. Enough respect due. He's always comes with some good comments as well. So respect due to him. I've got where's his I was trying to bring it up on the screen. If I can find it. Bear with me. Here it is. Chief Sofa, can you guys do a full combined 11 with everyone healthy at the end of the show?
I said we did this and it took ages. We didn't even agree.
We did that last time and we were arguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I'm just not having any back four in there. And then we got stuck on Saka and we didn't go past that.
Khan says, that's the point. These lads are earning millions kicking a ball. So for sure, they should know how the media will follow them. That's another good point he makes there. The thing is, right, you know that you're under a lot of, even me and you nowadays, right? We're under a lot of scrutiny, aren't we? Yeah. And we're not like footballers. We're under a lot of scrutiny. There's a lot of things that maybe we could have done beforehand that now when you go to do that, you're like, why? I remember the other day I went to the shops and This guy, right? He cut me up, right? When I say cut me up, yeah, he nearly smashed up my car.
Yeah.
He was impatient. He couldn't wait. He cut on the inside of me just as I was about to park. I had to brake on my thing, and then he nicked my parking space as well on top of it.
He's done you right over, mate. You need to stand up for yourself.
And I took the proper piss, yeah. And then on top of that, now when I'm there and I'm thinking, is this guy for real? When I got out of my car now, and I go, yo, bro, look what you did. The man said to me, he basically told me to piss off, yeah. I looked at this guy, right, and I was like, nah. And then something inside of me just said, no, Robbie, hold on, there's people around as well.
Leave it.
You can't be doing that sort of stuff now. And I just had to just say, I'm getting my tongue.
10-second count on himself and bring himself back down.
And you've known me for a while, Flex. Back in the day, there's no way. I'm not, and here I'm not advocating fighting or nothing like that, right? But there's no way I would have let that pass without saying anything.
Yeah,
I was completely out of order. But you've got to. But how I look at it now, I'm like, well, there's people watching. People might film that. By the time it's filmed and sent to people, it's all out of context and that. So you've got to be aware of that. And some of these footballers, come on. What's Hudson-Odoi 4 a.m? Lacazette, you know you're in, like you said, you know you've got problems for that before. Greenish, you've got a history of getting pissed in public and stuff like that. Just hold it down, man. Come on.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good, especially like I said, the position that they're in. They know how highly scrutinized they are.
Yeah.
And look, everyone can have a little slip up here and there, but the mistakes that these guys are making, they can't really have too much complaints with how they're being viewed. You know what I'm saying? They can't. You can't. So, and I, you know, back onto the thing of when you're saying about even us reacting, it's true. I've had some hostility outside of games. You know, man trying to push through the fan cams and nudging and trying to poke you with a stick to get that one spark, that one, like you said. Then before you know it, all that's clipped on a video is me shouting and swearing in someone's face, trying to defend myself to not take their shit. But all that out of context is, oh, Man United YouTuber goes crazy at fan, and then that's it. You're blacklisted. Man United come, no, we don't want this outside the fit. And then all of a sudden you're done. And there are people out there, though, not so much in these footballers' cases because they've kind of brought it on themselves, but there are some people out there who want that to happen to you. They want to bring you down. They want to see the worst thing happen to you. They don't want to see you, you know, do what it is, whatever your goals you're setting out to accomplish. So, yeah, it's the same even with the footballers. They have to see the media as that person. They're just media people, big papers and big news district. They are waiting for anything. Do you know what I mean? Whether it's a marital thing within your relationship, a gambling problem, you crashed your car, you spent too much on a car, you know, you didn't pay your tax bill on time, or they're waiting for absolutely secret talks about a move, turns it, anything, not paying agent fees. They're just waiting. So the level of scrutiny is so high. I think sometimes they just slip through the net.
Shrey says, Robbie, the media are accusing of Kyle Walker breaking lockdown rules, but the media reporters were following Walker on the road, and they were doing social service following. It's mental harassment.
Yeah, basically not leaving him alone. Well, that's what Walker was kind of saying. He was like, my family. He was, to be fair to him, and that's why I did feel a little bit like, okay, he's made the mistake. But what he was saying, and he said he held his hand up. He was out during lockdown. He was feeling awful. He had to go to his parents, and I get it. We all want to go to our parents. That's fine. I get that. But when you've got, and we know this how the media work. Of course, they would have been following him here, saying his missus is being followed and his family, and it's wrong. It's wrong. These sometimes I do think these people are so invasive, and you get comments like what Danny Rose says the other day when he was like, I don't give a crap about the nation or this, that, and the other. I care about me and the way I've been treated, and you know what they're waiting to trip up and going up against my family. It's true that it's so invasive. You know what I mean? They can't even go to the shop for a pint of milk. I saw Bruno Fernandes. They were taking pictures of the guy at the Tesco at Manchester. The man putting Huggies Pampers with his missus into the car from his food shop, from his shopping, and putting it in the paper, saying Bruno Fernandes goes out with Mrs. for local shop. Why are you telling us that?
Terrible. It's terrible. Couple of super chats here to get through. Trent Singh says, do you guys think Dennis Rodman would survive in today's social media?
I was literally just talking about this on the phone. Before, like about an hour ago, because I just finishing off the last dance. I was talking to my friend Shane, and I was like, you do know that you see the way Phil Jackson managed Dennis Rodman, yeah, where he's like, look, he just understands that I need that blowout. Could you imagine, right? Aubameyang saying halfway through the season to Arteta, boy, you know I score the goals, I do everything, man. Boy, I need to go Vegas, you know. I need to go live it up. I need to drink. I need to get women. I need to stay up late and go strip clubs and do all this stuff. And I'll be back in a couple of days. That's never going to happen in today's game. And so Dennis Rodman would not survive in that.
Alpha Kenny Spurs player says, do an all-time 11 between United and Arsenal. Lack of threat, as you know, he's dissing Lacazette here. Did a bad thing, man. He did a bad thing. Where's the other one? This is Nicholas Blackmore. Says, hi, Don, Robbie, and Flex. Do you think Pepe has had a good enough presence, or would you have been happy seeing him at United? Big up for both channels.
I think Pepe's got better, and he will get better. He's a very good player. I don't think anyone can deny that, no matter what banter you're having and you know what you want to have a laugh on that. He's a very good player. But would I like to see him at United instead of Daniel James? Better than him, I'd say. Yeah, you can't argue with that. But I think if we're in for Sancho, and if we get him, I'll be way over the moon with that. We won't need him. So
we had a Dortmund fan on the show on Saturday, and he was saying that he's quite confident that Sancho will stay.
Maybe.
So he was bigging up Sancho as one of the best players around.
He is that good, Rob. I remember when we were talking. You were like, "Boy, I don't know. You know, I know he's good, but what I'm saying, listen."
100 million. Remember we was arguing about is he worth 100 million?
Yeah, he is.
Also saying to me that you paid 100 million. United will pay that, but it's
remember when I was saying to you that, did you see the reports that come out where Solskjaer's been saying we're going to get our target, we're still doing our thing? I told you, mate, just because the corona things happen. And Gary never said it. I don't know if you saw a piece that Gary Neville said, and it was so true. He was basically saying that United can find themselves, through no fault of their own, being in a really, really strong position financially in the transfer market. Because you look at the other big powerhouses like Barcelona, Juventus, and teams like this, they've actually taken wage deferrals, club furlough, and all of this stuff. They're the sorts of teams that aren't going to be able to come back in, spend 150 million on a man, give that man 200 million a week, 200 grand a week. And Manchester United are one of very few teams in this climate at this time, because of what's happened, that are actually still financially able to still do that.
However, Man United themselves have come out, like Ed Woodward and that, and said that don't look for that big spending this summer. He said it quite clearly, because they, you know, just like everybody else, it's a rough situation at the moment. Waltzing says, how long before Arsenal United challenge again? Until Klopp and Pep leaves?
Challenge, I mean, because you've got to take the word challenge as in you're not definitely going to beat them and win the league. It's just be in the conversation and just give them a bit of a run for their money. Challenging,
for me, I look on challenging as you're pushing them all the way to win the league. So if your last season, Liverpool were challenging Man City to win.
Yeah.
Right? That's challenging. Now, how long before we do that?
I mean, if we buy right in the next couple of windows, bearing in mind this window could be ruined, I get that, so that could put us back a year. Minimum couple of years. Minimum. Bare minimum.
I think with us, definitely absolute minimum 2 years. And I'm not even very confident at the moment.
2 years?
Well, we're not going to challenge. We ain't challenging this season. We know that. We're not going to challenge next season. we're not really going to challenge until we get a lot of those real high earners off our wage bill. So I can only
leaves as well. You're going to have to do a whole nother thing.
I can only start assessing it, after that. You know, we're not going to be challenging.
No.
Mehdi says, respect Robbie. I completely agree with you. When it's about kids, then it doesn't matter how big the legend is. By the way, imagine, God forbid, Paul Pogba does something like this. English media. That's also a very interesting thing.
Don't get me started. Don't mention.
Pogba's not been involved in any of the shenanigans.
You are at 50 minutes right now, yeah? Don't mention Paul Pogba to me, because I would just... because, listen, Paul Pogba is the most spoke about man, but he's the man who stays in his yard the most, don't go no clubbing, don't even drink that alcohol. You know what I mean? The most he does is his haircuts and little dance.
Funny thing is a bit like Aubameyang. Like you would expect...
There you go.
Lacazette, or what happened to all them other guys. You'd expect that to be Aubameyang, but he's focused.
There you go, man.
That's the thing about it, right? Is that you don't care about. We look at the flamboyance of the person, but sometimes we don't realize how focused those. Cristiano Ronaldo might be a really flashy guy, but he's focused on his sport.
The dedication that it takes to be that good and that at that level for so long. You know what I'm saying? I don't like that, because that's when people are disrespecting the craft. That's when people are forgetting that away from the craft, you can almost, within reason, as long as you're not breaking the law, you can buy as many cars as you want. You can buy as many changes as you want. Why? Because you've got the money to do it. Just like a man or a woman who owns a lucrative company, they might not have any talents in terms of physical attributes or be an amazing athlete, but they got given some money, or they inherited some money, or their company started doing very well. You buy what you want. You got it. You got the money.
I'll come back to you on that in a second. Peace Love says, Captain Jack, Baby Adoy, and Lacazette are like 14-year-old boys on FAP. He says, relapse every other day. And also, don't forget Moise Keane. He was another one at Everton. He's another one who got into problems.
Oh, yeah, he did. And he was having a hard time even before that.
Yeah. On the Pogba thing, what did you make the other day? Is it Danny Mills? His comments on Pogba, where he was saying that basically he brings it on himself because he's so flashy and stuff like that. He brings it on himself.
Just chatting crap. He's just chatting crap, because at the end of the day, yeah. I mean, I spoke to you about this before. I don't know if I rang you. I can't remember. Was it on here?
You rang me after that. No, I'll tell you what it was. Me and you. Did I do something on your channel, or we did something together?
It was on here. It was on here.
Yeah, that's right. And then afterwards, you were fuming. I was like, "What have I done to this guy?"
Right. Did you watch it back when I said
he was fuming about the stick that Pogba was getting, and then you sent me the could we discuss it on the show?
Yeah, and then I sent it. What did you think when you watched it?
I listened to it. It's ridiculous.
Because he's trying to apply it to normal life, and Hugh, big up Hugh Woozencroft as well on TalkSport. He's saying, yeah, but Danny. Because Danny Mills is going, yeah, but it's just how it is and all that. But he's going, yeah, but you can't say, just because that's how it is. We've got to do more to change that, surely. A man walking down the road, just because he's got dreadlocks then, or he's got short hair, or he's got dyed hair, means that he's going to rob you, or means that he's going to do... You're making a judgment off of what he looks like. And, the same way, like I said, if Pogba was playing good, yeah... if Pogba wasn't playing good but didn't have the hairstyles, do you think that they'll be saying, oh, it's just a matter of time before he gets back to form, because it's not like he's dyeing his hair or anything. He's playing, he'll get back to it. His attitude's spot on because he ain't got dye in his hair. They're still going to jump on him. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
RD7HC says, combined 11 with the Invincibles and 99 treble winners. They're not going to let us go with this. We did it on the last time when we was there. We did that. We really did that. South Force 175 says, silly lacquer. He was our only hope next season. Oh,
yeah, he was our only hope next season. I think he means, yeah.
He was our only hope next season. Guaranteed striker with the whole Aubameyang situation. Now he could be facing problems up front. He's worse than that blood clot Benchod, which of course Benchod, which I've soon found out is not a very nice word to say, right? But he's tearing into Lacquer.
pelters off you. Like, has that been a general consensus with Arsenal fans? Obviously, since it's come out, really disappointed in him, worrying what the future's going to look like now.
Yeah, very, very disappointed in him. Because he's not been having the greatest of seasons. He has, as that guy said, he has had an average season, and he should be keeping his head down, man. This is not a good look for him at all. It's really, really bad. And I don't know. As we said, yeah, I mean, there's been quite a lot of footballers that have. But then, do you know the other thing is about it, Flex? I mean, the Hudson-Odoi thing obviously is really, really bad. But then I also look on things like this. How many footballers are there in the Premier League?
Yeah, I was going to say that right at the beginning. It's not that many they're acting up.
Hundreds of footballers, yeah. We've picked out 4 that have missed it, and even a couple of them is stupid, but you know what I mean? So I think we have to take that into context so far. But unfortunately, like you said, it makes the headline.
That's why we remember it more. It's 5 or 6 players out of how many professional players are in the Premier League? There's got to be hundreds, maybe over 1,000. That's a bit much. Don't know, but in terms of the football pyramid, there's thousands of professional players. Yeah. It's because it's highlighted so much and negativity sells, and that's all we'll see and all we'll hear for them a couple of days.
Especially whilst there's no football going on, you know what I mean? These stories are perfect for the newspapers.
Exactly.
Ikem says Hudson-Odoi is 19, Grealish and Moise Keane are young. I think Grealish not that. Grealish about 24, 25 now.
Yeah, mid-20s now. Yeah.
Moise Keane is young. He's 19 as well, I think.
Yeah, he is.
19 or 20. They're going to make mistakes like these, but Laka is 28. He's supposed to be mature, and you are right. It's really, really disappointing from Lacazette. You know,
and he'll be feeling it. You know that if Aubameyang is his good friend, Aubameyang strikes me as a good character, someone who would be probably ringing Laka saying, "Yo, boy, man, why you do that, man? Come on, like, you know." You'd like to think that maybe Laka can have some people around him now. If I don't know, obviously his situation, but you'd like to think he can have some people around him that can maybe help him make some decent decisions. You know, hopefully.
Omar says it's a stupid thing to do. But I'm not about to tell an experienced player what to do in his spare time. Well, he shouldn't be doing that in his spare time. If he was doing that, he shouldn't be doing that in his spare time. I've been warned about it before. Don't.
There's certain things, right? This is what I mean about the difference between overstepping that line of invading their personal lives and stuff like that. Yeah, but there's certain things that you can tell a professional, experienced Premier League player what not to do. You can say you shouldn't be out late drinking every night, doing shots of Jaeger bombs before the night of a game, on the night of a game or whatever. Dumbass things. Don't smoke. You're a professional athlete. You know what I mean? So there are certain things that you can say. Not everything, but there are certain things you can.
Lewis McLean says, how do you think Arteta is going to deal with the Lacazette situation? I think he'll come down hard. You've seen what he's like so far. He doesn't like stuff like this. Obviously, he likes his discipline. He's not going to like this from Lacazette, and I think he will come down on it hard. MSG 4403 says, Robbie, don't you think that the Premier League should be ashamed that no other league is facing these issues? I don't know. The thing is, no other league gets followed around, the players and that, like this league. Honestly, I don't know. Listen, I don't know what's happened in the other leagues. I don't know.
The Premier League, that'd be ashamed. It'd be the clubs. Premier League don't care. They're not. I know to a certain extent they might. They make up the numbers of the Premier League, but the players don't go out and necessarily represent the Premier League. They're paid by the clubs. They represent the clubs. Shirt badge that they have. You know what I mean? On the left-hand side of their shirt. So it's more that, I think.
This guy makes a point. He said Chelsea sacked Adrian Mutu for taking cocaine, so Arsenal will end up doing.
Drug though, it's different. It's Class A drug.
Different, yeah. It's not actually illegal to take hippie crap.
So I mean, if Lacazette was doing flipping lines of cocaine off the table and saying, "I'm just chilling at home doing this,"
that'd be different.
Ball game to doing some laughing.
This is way different to that. way. It's not an illegal. He's not done anything illegal. I think they find it very difficult to sack him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. You can't sack him for that.
It's almost like you'd be sacking someone for having a drink.
Or having a drink, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't sack somebody for that.
It's not illegal. It's just not the best thing for a professional athlete to be doing.
Yeah, this gentleman says, Robbie, players are getting massive money while they are young, and even if they got older over the years, money tricks them and makes them to do everything they want. They should go to jail for it. Jeez. Well, I'll tell you what, Hudson-Odoi, if it's proven, he could be going to jail. Wow. This is very, very, very sick. This could be the end of his football career at Chelsea. It could be the end of his career at England. It could be the end of his career, full stop.
Yeah.
He's in a lot of trouble right now,
Yeah, look, of course. Again, I don't really like talking too much about the alleged charges because, these things do come out in the media and sometimes these things come out and, sometimes people try and take players to the cleaners when it could have been a consensual thing where he said, come over, and then, the person lost their head and then had an argument. And they thought, right, I'll just lie and say this to the police. We don't know. Do you know what I'm saying?
We don't know. We don't know. In the meantime, it looks terrible. He's been arrested for rape.
Yeah.
Terrible. That for
even that, is that even a fact though? Have the police actually said that? They've said they arrested a male, but have they said we've arrested him on suspicion of?
The police have said that, right?
The police have said that.
Chelsea, an England winger, Callum Hudson-Odoi, has been arrested on suspicion of rape in the early hours of Sunday morning. Police and the ambulance service were called to the address at 3:53 in the morning. Report of a woman feeling unwell. He has definitely been arrested for it. Chelsea have declined to comment at this time, right? And of course, the lockdown rules specify that one person from each household may meet as long as they remain outdoors or keep 2 meters apart. Well, if you've been arrested for rape, the 2 meter rule is definitely
broken. Just the police reportedly respond to a report of an unwell woman, and they had an argument.
Been arrested. He's definitely been arrested for rape, and he's out on bail. Been arrested for rape. He's out on bail. This is very, very. It's as serious as it gets, isn't it? Mm-hmm. So he's in big trouble right now. You know what I mean? Big trouble.
Frank Lampard's got a real serious issue to deal with there.
Yeah, Esme says, I think rape is a lot worse than doing balloons, to be fair. He says, at least Laka didn't waste emergency services.
Well, not even emergency services, harming another person if that is the case.
Yeah, Ambessa says, but Chesney smoking in the shower and got sold after. Yes, Chesney did get caught smoking in the showers.
Didn't Jack Wilshere get caught smoking as well in a flipping bathtub?
Yeah, Jack Wilshere's been caught smoking.
Arsenal just galore, mate.
Sorry?
Arsenal just lighting up cigarettes for galore.
Listen, don't forget gigs, like you said. What about what's the other one with United player? Rooney,
yeah.
Out in the kitchen, remember that?
Yeah, Phil Bardsley knocked him clean out, mate.
Yeah, and then there was the granny one. What's the matter with these players, man? What's up with some of these players?
Hey, listen, you know what it is, yeah? You know what it is? I just think, sometimes we all say, yeah, I'd love to be dirty, stinking rich. But sometimes you have to think to yourself, what does it do to you as a person? Because if you can't handle fame and money and being able to get or do anything that you want in your life, if you can't handle that and you've got the wrong people around you, it's like saying if you want to win the lottery and be a multi-millionaire overnight, that's how people turn to drink and drugs and stuff with all the money in the world, because it can be a lonely place having a lot of money. And that drives you to make some silly decisions, man.
Let me tell you something. I don't know how the clubs, if they do, I'm almost sure they do this, but these are the things that need to be managed. Because when you get money quickly, when you're that young, I couldn't imagine him 90. Hudson-Odoi, I think, is on about 180 grand a week.
Something like that.
So you start to think you're a bit invincible with that money. You know what I mean? I'll get on the phone and call it escort agent, because that's what he apparently did as well. I'll get on the phone, I'll call it escort agent, he didn't send a girl over for me. fuck the fucking rules on the lockdown. Send her over.
Yeah, don't
You got
care.
to do it. You know what I mean? And sometimes it is so important. It is so important, the people that you have around you, especially at that age. There's somebody you can say to you, yo, bro, it's lockdown, man. We do it. Yeah, but bro, no. It's lockdown. Forget that. That's what your true friend will be saying to you. But
let's get on NBA 2K or something and just stay in.
Yeah, you know what it's like, Flex. You know what I mean? You've met footballers. Not only that, we've both been involved in music and that. You get man around you, encouraging. Yeah, man. Pull up, bro. Let's get the champagne in and blah, blah, blah. They're not the ones that are going to get in the big trouble.
That's why it's about the company you keep, man.
It's so important to have decent people around you when you're, and like you said, you know, someone like Hudson Odoi, Moise Keane, they're kids. 19, 18, 20, they're little kids, you know, youngsters.
But that's why they're making these mistakes as well. I know it can happen if you're older as well, but that's what I'm saying. It's like, I don't want to paint a picture like, as a perfect person, because nobody's perfect. Like when we were younger, we all made mistakes. And it's just that these guys, unfortunately for them, their mistakes come at a lot higher price. And I'm not saying rape is a mistake and that's fine. I'm not saying that. I'm saying things other than that, like, you know, being out late, or you might be drinking or doing balloons and partying in Magaluf, coming back late for training, and dumbass things that you do when you're younger. Some things are, you know, incomprehensible no matter how old you are. They're just straight up crimes, and you need to, you know, you might need to go and
I hope for his sake.
I hope so as well. I hope that, you know, look, it's hard to talk about, but obviously if he's done that, then there's only certain consequences you can get. But I hope that it isn't what it looks.
I mean, this guy says, Robbie, even that, what if the woman's claim is wrong?
That's what I mean. Yeah.
It looks bad. Anyone can wrongfully accuse you. You can't control that. I agree with Flex. No, listen.
That can happen though, Rob, because that can happen.
It's happened before.
That can happen.
It's happened.
And they arrest you because it's all kicking off and say, look, come down the stage and have a talk with us. For all we know, let's look at it, because you have to look at both sides. Yeah, I'm not saying she's lying or anything like that, or he's done it, because we don't know. I'm just painting hypothetical situations. On the one side, yeah, there's no smoke without fire. It don't look good. On the other end, how do we not know that they, you know, there was something completely consensual that happened, and then at the end of it, she thought, actually, he's a footballer on 100 grand a week. Actually, I'm going to say this: there are vindictive, horrible people out there that could do that. However, there's vindictive, powerful men who abuse their positions who do that too. So, you know, 6 to 1, half a dozen the other, as they say.
A lot of times when footballers are in this position, we're quick to say, "Oh, the woman, she's probably after his money and stuff." But right? Yes, of course, innocent till proven guilty, but a lot of these guys as well try to throw their, you know, their fame around, think that they can do whatever they want, and no, it doesn't matter.
And it could be equally either.
It doesn't matter if that girl's got £5 in her pocket.
Yeah,
still deserves to be treated with respect. And obviously, none of us are there. We don't know exactly. But I think it's wrong when people just start saying, she probably just, he didn't do it. She probably, how do we know? What is she doing?
That's what I'm saying. It's 50.
He's put himself in a very, very bad position. Yeah. It's lockdown, and you've invited somebody into your home, a female, at 4 a.m, or she's dead.
I invited them and they came as the first thing. I didn't force them to come here. They came in. You know? Then after that, but then that doesn't mean anything's consensual. I'm just saying that's just.
But it's whatever it is, it looks bad.
Well, it's terrible. It looks horrendous.
They're saying false allegations are common, and they are. But so a lot of times, when what's the name of the guy? Harvey Weinstein.
Yeah, look at that.
At first, everybody was saying, no, he didn't do nothing. It's all fake, false accusations by that woman. Then another woman come out. Then another. So where is he now?
It's very easy. It's very easy to, try and silence women's voices and say that, they have made it up and stuff like that. And it does happen. Sometimes women aren't even heard in these things, and they just don't even get the chance to.
Until the truth comes out, it looks bad. I hope that for his sake, that there's nothing in it. But at the moment, it looks not just bad; it looks terrible.
Mm.
And
more to the point, well, whatever the thing is that he's put himself in a position of vulnerability by asking someone to come over, break the lockdown rules. Whatever happened in the house happened. He's put himself in that situation at 4 in the morning for whatever reason. So,
Alim says, good evening, Robbie, off topic, but who should we sell this summer? In your opinion, there are too many players on high wages.
Get rid of Aubameyang.
Shut your mouth, that get rid of Aubameyang.
Get rid of Aubameyang.
There's a few players we should sell, but as I've said quite a few times, we're not going to be able to get rid of them because with the coronavirus, I can see us holding on to the majority of our players, to be honest. Black Sheep Soup says, Robbie, again, we've got to be careful with stuff like this. We already know the media agenda against football players, especially ones of colour. We've got to be careful. We do. And I understand what you're saying, Black Sheep Soup, and you are right. And nobody's saying he's guilty, and nobody's saying he's innocent. And that's why it looks bad, because at the moment, nobody knows. All we know, this is all we know, the only facts we have is that he's been arrested for alleged rape. Yeah, that's all we know right now. That's all I know. That's all Flicks knows. That's all you know. The media are having a field day with it. It looks terrible. It looks bad on Chelsea. It looks bad on Hudson-Odoi. It looks terrible for his family. It's terrible for that woman's family. You know, it's just terrible all round. And he could have avoided this situation because we're on a lockdown. So I hope it works out for him. I only hope it works out for him if he didn't do it. If he did do it, you've got to take what's coming to you. You've got to, but if he, I hope that, but honestly, at the moment, it's not looking great. This is awful. And, when I heard it at first this morning, I didn't even know about the rape thing. I just knew.
What I'm saying. I didn't see that. I just saw the, to go to hospital because she was unwell.
Yeah,
and, there was an argument.
When it sort of came out at first, it was more like it was a thing like it sounded like he might have beaten the girl up or something. That's how it sort of came out. Yeah. But now it's turned into something much worse than that. That's bad enough. This is like we're going to do a couple more because it's getting on pretty late. Viper Gaming says, "Big up both of you. Respect how you give fans a chance to have their voice, even though there's always dumb haters." You get any?
Just a few. Actually, you know what? No, because I need to get better at this, and I have done over the last 6 months. So there is only a few haters compared to how much love there is. So yeah, just a few.
Yeah, it is only a few. Yeah. And I always say that to people, and people are like, "Yeah, but Robbie, I saw you surrounded." I go, "Listen, it looked worse than what it was."
Yeah.
About 15 guys, and that's not the whole stadium. You know what I mean? So you've got to, like you said, you've got to look on it for what it is, and especially in times like these. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna do two more. Jaheim Grant says Laka is an adult. He can do whatever he wants to do, and Arteta is his manager, not his dad. I think once players are not putting Arsenal in, I think he means disrepute here.
Yeah, but you are straight away
committing a crime. They should be left alone. He did.
Yeah, but you are bringing. As soon as you do anything outside the realms of that doesn't have to be just a legal crime. Being out late on a Friday night, like I said, at 3 in the morning, sitting on a curb because you're drunk. You might not be breaking the law, but you're bringing the club into disrepute. Every time you step out your house, you're accountable for yourself and the club that you're contracted.
I think where he really has brought the club into disrepute here is he got done for it before and warned. Don't do it again, and you've got to. So Lacazette is, you can't really, he has again put himself in hot water. And final one, this guy just simply says, "Remember Adam Johnson," and very lucky to even be back playing football after, although he did.
No, he's not playing. That's Ched Evans.
Oh yeah, Ched Evans. Sorry, yeah. This is the one. Adam Johnson.
To be fair, I'm sure Ted Evans actually did get cleared after all of the thing.
Yeah, Ted Evans actually got cleared, didn't he? But
he went jail, didn't he?
He went jail. Look at the effect it had on him.
And that's the other side of the thing, where look, I don't like. That's what I mean. This subject, I don't even really like talking about it too much because you don't know what the facts are. There's so much conflicting different bits of information. None of us are judge and jury. We're not part of the case. And this is why most of the time, I know it's awful to hear news like this, but most of the time I don't even really care to even know too much because I'm like, you know what? I'm not getting involved.
You know what, Flex? I think the Ched Evans thing, you know, they should be talking to footballers at football clubs to say, this is what can happen.
Yeah.
When you put yourself in these situations.
100%.
You know, I don't know. It's a very sad situation, and let's see how it all plays out. But all I know is right now, Hudson-Odoi must be sat at home tonight, a very worried guy. And he's kind of put himself in that situation. But then it's really tough because he's 19. And like, you know, all right, we weren't getting involved in things like that when we were 19, but we've done a lot of, I know I can only speak for myself. If the press were following me around at 19, Jesus Lord. I may not be here right now talking to you guys, you know what I mean? So it's
good thing there was no phones back in them days when you were 19. Well, there weren't no camera phones, that's for sure.
There was no phones.
All right, camera phones.
Flex, listen, man, absolute pleasure having you on again, man. It's always great when we get you on. Thanks very much. We didn't get to do that combined 11 because we've done it before.
Yeah, I don't think we're ever going to agree on one anyway.
We were arguing and then we ended up arguing off air and all that as well. So we're avoiding that one tonight, right? But thanks for everybody for all your comments. Thanks to Flex. Don't forget you can check Flex on United Stand, the #1 Manchester United channel. He's over there doing a great job, him and Mr. Goldbridge. So well done to you guys. And hopefully United flop when we do that.
Hey, before I go as well, I've got to big up my Instagram, FlexUTD. I've been doing some live DJ sets on there every Friday, 7 o'clock as well. Going at Flex Fridays, do you know what I'm saying? Going at that. And also I've got a proper striker that you lot will remember very well, Andy Cole, going up on my channel. I've done an evening with Andy Cole. Talks a lot about when he used to come up against Arsenal. And obviously he was one of your players and you lot dissed him. George Graham didn't rate him. So then he went with greatness.
When he was at Arsenal, we did have some pretty handy strikers there at the time.
He admitted that. He admitted that when I
you're right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Check
that out on my channel. I've got my channel called The Flex, so make sure you subscribe to that and check out that interview back end of the week.
Respect, man. And I like them Flex Fridays, man. I like your girlfriend there with the glasses on.
Yeah. Hey, don't call her girlfriend, mate. She'll have you. She's got to be
no, big her up. Enough respect to her, man.
Yeah,
she makes it because you do play some dud tunes sometimes. So. No, it's good. It's good. I really enjoy it, man.
Yeah, it's good, man.
So big up, Flex, and I'll see you guys in the morning.